Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'm here to give you an announcement on Ethereum and a potential trade that I'm going to be looking at for the future. And it is, funnily enough, a long position, right? I do think Ethereum is actually going to progress to the upside significantly quite soon, and I will be explaining that to you here on this channel here, and I will be going through the 1 hour, the short term here, the mid term for Ethereum, and also the long term as well. Pointing out some crucial chart patterns there, which I think are pretty likely to play out, right? Pretty likely to play out. So yes, at this point in time, on the short term, let's start off with the short term here. You can see this rising wedge, right? You can see this rising wedge coming through. If we are going to be looking at a break to the top side of this rising wedge, yes, a break to the top side. I do think we are going to break to the top side if we can hold a dominant level of support, which we're currently trying to find at this point here. Obviously, we do have this horrible wick that came down here a minute ago. That was obviously Bitcoin having a little bit of a shake there, and we did watch that come down on the charts there. I think we came down to around 35k, something around that point. But yeah, back to Ethereum now. That was the shake, and obviously we have seen a nice swift recovery from there, right? As you can see on the short term here, we are holding our own to an extent on the 200. Ideally, we want to see a short-term target of holding the 200 up at that 2,652 mark and progressing up from there. If we can get to the top of this rising wedge here, if we can get to the top of this rising wedge, and I'll explain that I do think we are going to get there, we just have to cross some significant points of resistance to get there, right? If we are going to get to the top, let's go on the basis that we go up to the top, and it's going to be something along the lines of this in terms of price action, right? Quite steep, I must say, but yes, it would be looking like a measure move, looking like so, and this is going to be a long position, which I will definitely be thinking about taking in the near future for Ethereum, right? In terms of percent for this trade, it is going to be around a 10, near enough 11% trade there for Ethereum. So it's definitely something to consider, right? And let me just explain how and why I think we are going to get there, right? So this is the short term. This is obviously the rising wedge that I just spoke about here. Let's jump to the MACD, right? Let's jump to the MACD here and just have a look. Let's have a little look here for on this uptrend trend cycle that we've got coming through here, and as you can see, we have literally just finished the cycle. That's straight away one indication that we are going to see a surge in the price to the upside, creating a new higher high in terms of the MACD, in terms of the next uptrend that we have. We're imminently away from this bullish crossover here. We're seeing this this downtrend fizzle out pretty nicely indeed, pretty steeply in terms of the fizzle out, right? So that's pretty good indeed. So when we see this bullish crossover, we're looking for that nice spike in the price for Ethereum, right? And that is obviously going to push and that's obviously going to push the RSI up as well, because at the moment the RSI, we're nearly oversold here. So we're looking at a nice bit of room space before we get to that overbought point for Ethereum there. So that's definitely another thing to think about as well if we are going to see that progression to the upside. Right now, we are going to have to basically find a nice level of support on the 21 moving average here, the 55 moving average here, and also the price action channel, and also this horizontal level of resistance at 2,730, right? If we can find a nice level of support on that, I can see us definitely progressing up to the further. Maybe a smooth sort of consolidation up is needed, but at this point in time, we do need to see some sort of retracement to the upside here, because obviously we've seen this dirty crash, right? And at this point in time, we are finding a little bit of a level of support here on this 200 moving average here. So yeah, that's the reasoning for us to go up here on the short term here on Bitcoin. Let me jump to the 4-hourly chart here, the mid term here for Bitcoin. As you can see here, not for Bitcoin, sorry, for Ethereum. As you can see here, we do have an ascending triangle, right? We do have an ascending triangle, which is looking, I must say, very goddamn attractive. Very attractive. A lot of confirmation, a lot of touch points from all the other sides, right? And if we are looking for a measure move up, if we do get to this top side here, when we do find a level of support on this 200 moving average here, as you can see, we've tested it once, we've tested it twice, we've tested it 3 times. The likelihood of it breaking the next time is pretty high, right? It is pretty high, and we are going to be looking at certain resistance points along, obviously, these lower high points, as I've been talking about on a lot of my morning streams, right? And that's currently probably sitting at around 3,500 in terms of a target, right? If we are looking for a measure move up from this ascending triangle, we would usually go on the most recent trend, right? So that obviously that doesn't look so great. It's still a nice move up to the upside, right? Still literally a 10% move, which correlates pretty well with what we were going for with this rising wedge on the shorter term here. So you can already see the patterns, in a sense, playing out with 2 different chart patterns we've got coming through here on the short term and also the short term and the mid term here as well. But yeah, this is as I like to call it, a non-greedy measure move, right? If we're going for the slightly more greedy one, we'd go for the most recent trend, right? And that would look something along the lines of this, and that'd be bringing us up to that 3,500 mark, right? And that is definitely, as I said a second ago, a very crucial level of resistance here due to these lower highs coming through for Ethereum there, and that's definitely going to be a point that we are going to need to see that massive upwards momentum to actually get to that point, right? So definitely something to think about there. And now let's just jump to the RSI, right? Let's jump to the RSI right now. Obviously, we do have this downward sloping resistance line coming through. So if we are going to see that upwards momentum coming through on the shorter time frames there, if we are going to see that upwards momentum come through and find a nice level of support on these zones here in terms of these moving average and this horizontal resistance zone at 2,700 there, it's gonna give me an insight here to the fact that we could potentially find a nice level of support on this downward sloping resistance line, and that could obviously help us propel up in price, right? That could help us propel up in price and give us that momentum to break to the top side of this ascending triangle, right? And looking for these measure moves to be playing out pretty juicily, right? So that's another indication there that we could be breaking out to the top side if we can get a level of support on this RSI, on that support line coming through here. And also, let me bring up the MACD here on the Ethereum, the midterm here, the MACD on Ethereum for the midterm here. You can see this trend here. We're finding a level of support on this line. So an indication of us breaking to the downside and losing this support line. I mean, to be honest with you, it's not very feasible in my opinion. And obviously on the smaller time frames there, we have actually seen this trend actually fizzle out, and we're looking for that bullish crossover. So that's an indication that the downtrend on the midterm here is actually going to start to fizzle out as well. So it's likely that we are going to find this support here, and we are going to have that bullish crossover on the MACD on the midterm happening pretty imminently. And also we do have a nice completion of an uptrend cycle playing out on the MACD here as well. So it's likelihood that we are going to set a nice big high in terms of an uptrend as well. So that's another factor, right? It's another factor to the fact of us having that potential to progress to the upside, looking for these measure moves coming through here, looking for those juicy trades. As I said, that is a 10% trade there for the non-greedy measure move, but the likelihood of this 20% happening, I mean, it's looking good indeed. All these factors are falling into place, and that's basically the midterm for Ethereum summed up there. Let me jump to the long term, right? Let me jump to the long term, because as you can see here, what we have here is a Gartley bearish chart pattern, right? It's a Gartley bearish chart pattern. A lot of people like to do the W's, right? When you have a W that doesn't come down and see that double bottom point there, and it's like this actually means it's a bearish pattern. Yes, I know I said it's going up. Yes, it does mean it's a bearish pattern, but if we see the completion of this pattern to the upside, we're going to firstly see, yes, $3,500 for Ethereum around that sort of point, right? Correlating perfectly with these lower high points, right? Correlating perfectly with these lower high points that we do need to get over to see that progression to the upside. So for me, it's kind of an initiation that we are going to come up to this sort of zone here. We are going to have a nice successful 20% trade there, and then we're going to see the progression to the downside, right? I'm not saying we're going to keep going up from there. I'm saying we're going to see the progression to the downside if we can see this Gartley chart, this bearish Gartley chart pattern play out there. So that's another in a sense, chart pattern that is forming together, which is looking like we are going to see that rejection when we see that 3,500. But let's just work on getting there for now in terms of the completion of these measure moves, in terms of completion of these trades. Obviously, guys, any trades that I'm saying, it's obviously on speculation, and it's not financial advice, right? So yeah, make your own mind up when you're when you're entering these trades. If you do want to enter these trades, right? Obviously, do your own research here. But yeah, guys, if you're liking the video, smash that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, new YouTuber out here, need a little help on the algorithms. But yeah, in terms of the long term right now, not the daily. Sorry, that obviously was the daily with this Gartley, the bearish Gartley chart pattern here. We are going to jump to the weekly chart pattern here, and as you can see, we're finding a very juicy indeed level of support on this 21 moving average as well, and seeing that progression to the upside, which isn't looking too bad as well. I mean, ideally, to see that insane progression to the upside, I would be looking at getting a weekly close above this 2,900 zone, and that's like a definite confirmation that we are going to be seeing the progression in the price from there. And we'll see how that correlates with this zone coming up here. Yeah, it's basically just going to see that reversal and basically see that completion of the Gartley chart, bearish Gartley chart pattern there. And obviously, it is going to mean that we will be testing the top side of this ascending triangle on the midterm here, and also on the short term coming through here. See, all these stars are aligning, and that's why I'm doing this video, guys. Just so we can all take an insight into this potential trade that I'm looking for here, right? And that obviously does correlate as well with the top side of this this rising wedge we've got coming through as well, right? So yes, ideally we want to see a nice weekly close on this 2,900 sort of mark or above. So, but in terms of positive news for Ethereum right now, we did set this lower low coming through here in terms of this insane downtrend, but since then it's just been higher lows. It's just been higher lows, progression to the upside, no sign of the trend reversing if we can get a nice close above this 2,900, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the video done, guys. I hope I've given you a good insight into potential trade there for Ethereum for yourselves. Obviously do your own research. This is obviously all in speculation, as I just said, not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Invest at your own risk and all that juicy stuff. But yeah, guys, if you like the video, smash that thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, I stream every single morning, Monday to Friday, for 1 to 2 hours. Sometimes I've been doing 3 hours recently, right? But yeah, so if you want to see more of my content, smash the subscribe, smash that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, guys. And yeah, and this is peace out from me, Crypto Chester.